Today, we're going to talk about something we call the visionary integrator positions within an organization. When we start working with a client, one of the very first things we do is we get together and we take a big step back and we define the company structure. Your structure is really important. It really provides reporting structure and, it gives people organizational clarity about who owns what. And we really do that pretty early in our EOS journey. The first thing we do when we do that is we build out what things are at the department level. Things like sales, marketing, operations, finance, stuff like that. Things that you gotta have to run a great company. I'll tell my clients that, after we got that, it's really, really important that the next step up from that is a position we call the integrate. And the integrator is a person that orchestrates those departmental functions. A great integrator is a very detail-oriented, roll up your sleeves, get down in the weeds. I tell my clients they know where all the closets are and all the skeletons of all the closets because they're really into that. They're really good at discerning good ideas from not so good ideas, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. They're usually very organized, kind of project-oriented people. Like I say, they're detail people. They like to get in the weeds, and they're really there to drive the business plan, drive things to happen, drive accountability in a company. A lot of companies, I've been doing this, like I said, with over 50 companies in my experience with this. They have another position at the helm of the company. It's usually positioned kind of above the integrator, and we call that the visionary. And if you've got one, you know it because the mindset, the makeup of a visionary is almost 180 degrees out of sync with an integrator. Where the integrator is that detailed, get down in the weeds, loves to push stuff every day. The visionary is not like that. They're really a big picture, big relationship person. The visionary, they usually just have their finger on the pulse of their market. They really know all the people out there, have great relationships with the people in their market. And the other thing we call it, the visionary is they're just full of ideas. It's almost jokingly we say this, but we say, every week they come up with 20 ideas. 19 of them are probably kind of flaky, but there's one in there that is just gold. And so it's kind of good to have that integrator working with a visionary that can kind of help them, sift those out. We call that discerning the great ideas from the not so great ideas. One thing visionaries do in a company, they're the owner, they've been around a long time. They know everything about the business. They know everything about the market. When a big problem comes up in the company, the integrator can fix it. They'll roll up their sleeves. They'll put together a 10-page plan. They'll be ready to march out and make it happen. The visionary will walk in and just say, oh, no, we don't need to do that. Here, call so-and-so over here. He'll be able to come in and get that straightened out tomorrow. They're just creative problem solvers. They come up with a more elegant, easy solution to the big, hairy, nasty problems. Visionaries, they're visionaries because they're just loaded with energy. If you have a visionary, and sometimes I've seen this in companies where an owner starts the business and he's really a visionary type of owner. He doesn't have an integrator working with him. He's sitting in that integrator seat. It's just not going to be as successful as it can if you can have a real integrator because he'll come up with these ideas, he'll push them, and then, we call it the 90-day spike. About 3 months into it, he gets really bored with all that day-to-day stuff, and the company just kind of dies. And you're just always kind of jumping forward and then stopping, jumping forward and stopping. So we really recommend it if you find out that you are a visionary type running company, you don't have an integrator, that you find one. But I want to be real clear about this and make sure that we don't make any mistakes here. You don't get somebody and put them in a seat and call them an integrator, and they're an integrator. An integrator, for all practical purposes, is that COO. And he's the person that runs the day-to-day for the visionary, and it should be a person that really wants to know how the visionary wants to run the company and is really interested in doing it the way the visionary wants it. In order to do that, we have something we call a same-page meeting where we want them to get together. Could be every week, could be every month, but you get together maybe for a couple hours. And the visionary brings in 3 or 4 or 5 things where he's seen the integrator. You're like, I wish he would have done it a little bit different like this. The integrator comes in with 4 or 5 things like, hey boss, how do you want me to handle this? And you get it worked out so that integrator knows he can work forward, run the company, make the decisions, and it'll be in a way that's great for the visionary. One other thing I want to say about a great integrator is you've got a great integrator, Mr. Visionary, when you found a person that's going to fixate and just be focused and passionate about the P&L just as much as you. Integrators, they're making every decision in the best interest of the company, not necessarily themselves. So you got to have somebody that really can do that. They can focus on that P&L. They can make sure that everything we're doing is driving that P&L forward, driving that business plan forward, and making it happen. So I hope that helps. That's what I think about the visionary integrator. I'll tell you one last thing before we get off is if you have any question, am I a visionary? Am I an integrator? If it's not really obvious to you, go, Google or just www.rocketfuel University. It's a great set of resources. 90% of what's there is absolutely free. And take what's called a crystallizer assessment. A quick little assessment you can take on there. And it's going to kind of let you know which end of the spectrum are you. Are you more towards that visionary spectrum? Are you more to that integrator spectrum? It can kind of give you a feel for where you're going. And take a look at that no matter which seat you're in, because there's great resources there to help you be the very best integrator and be the very best visionary. It's just a great tool to use. Talk to you next time, guys. Thanks a lot.